Three, two, one. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Growth Experiment Podcast with your host, Mom92,
And Five Stash.
Fire Stash, my boy. So, we started this podcast in hopes of bringing entertainment, in hopes of bringing good talks and everything. We want to focus on esports as a whole, the sport itself, just playing video games, whether it be for money, whether it be for fun, whether it be, just to play some games. And hold on. Okay, and I want to introduce ourselves. I want to introduce ourselves. You go first.
Me? All right.
Five Stash.
I'm Five Stash. My name is Eric. I'm a longtime gamer. I currently play fighting games. I met Irvin through technically playing fighting games, and I've been gaming since I was about 4 years old. My parents tricked me into playing RPGs. They're like, you know what? Video games keep them out of our hair. They'll learn how to read. Me and my brother. So we're just gonna buy them a whole bunch of RPGs. So that's pretty much how my gaming experience and journey started. It was let's play some Pokemon. I don't know what this menu means. Got to figure it out. So started off with RPGs, got into the fighting game stuff, probably about 2012 at a high level, and yeah, just kind of took off from there. And now we're here. We get to see all of the lovely esports stuff going on with, you know, Street Fighter Five in terms of not Red Bull, Capcom Cup, the Olympics, whatever. But yeah, that's basically my history of gaming in a nutshell.
My name is Irvin, aka Mom. I will only tell you what mom means if you ask. I'm a grown man. My name is Mom, but it is what it is, right? Now, my biggest thing is I never expected for it to be like this when it comes to gaming. And what I mean by that is I never expected for you to be able to play games and make a living. I never expected that. It's crazy to me. It's something that is just like, whoa. You know what I mean? Back in the day, parents used to be like, hey, you get off that game. You're not doing anything productive. You need to go do this. You need to go cut the grass, do this, do that. And now it's like, man, it's crazy. But my biggest, for me coming up, I played games. Probably I got my first game maybe when I was like five or so, Mario. And I mean, from then on, I never knew about competitive until I got older, probably about, man, probably about high school. And that's why I learned about the competitive gaming, just the scene in general, even though it was small, it was coming up. But just the fact that they have something like that. I've always been a competitive guy coming up. And just the fact that they have something like that is just beautiful. And it's something that I feel like I need to be in. I need to talk about more. And that's why I made the growth experiment, or where we made the growth experiment, because something that we feel like it's a passion, you know. Yeah. But that's how I got into gaming. Like I was young, I played, and then people started showing me a different side of it, and it just put me like the competitiveness and the game just came together. So yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
there you go.
So how do you feel about the sport? That's gonna be the first question, man, because I'm curious how you feel about the sport as a whole, not just you said you're a fighting game guy, so not just fighting games, but how do you feel about the sport as a whole,
The sport of just
esports, just being able to do that. It's just crazy. I mean, how do you
okay.
feel about it?
All right. Well, I don't really know much on about like the history of esports per se, but I will say people get recognition for doing a lot of really really odd random stuff, right? So if I have a talent, I don't feel like it should be downplayed. Like, let's say I'm able to do something that somebody else can't do. If I can do it at this level, it should get recognized. It should be recognized. Like, why not? So, if you're able to do something that does provide any kind of service or entertainment, then why not? Like I think it's great that something as trivial to some people, like parents, like you said, you need to do something productive with your time. Like, but what if something that I'm really good at to the point where other people are looking in like, whoa, this dude is like, that's crazy. Like, I think it's really, really cool that people are able to embrace something that, when we were growing up, no way. There is no way that you're going to make anything out of your life if you sit down and play games all the time. Like, well, we're in
Yeah.
2021. You got people buying houses, like, like whatever. I think the sport's great. I think it just opens up the door for people to say, this talent isn't a waste. I can actually invest in it and get something out of it. So,
Yeah, it definitely opens up the door, man, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, that's why I keep saying it. It's crazy. It's just like, man, you never would have thought that something like this would be possible. And you can almost do anything to make money these days. And I don't mean just some kind of money. I'm talking about life changing money. And the fact that that is one of them, something that is just a passion for a lot of people. You know what I mean? It's something that is just it's crazy. And my first tournament, I went to a tournament back in 2012. My first fighting game tournament. I go to the tournament, I see people like Justin Wong and people like, Snake Eyes and people like that. And I'm just like, whoa, man, look at these dudes. I'm looking at these guys like Michael Jordan and LeBron James and all that because it's my sport. It's something that I'm like, yo, these dudes are nasty. And it's just cool to see these people. And but other people, they're not even halfway known, across the world. You know what I'm saying? They're only known in this little scene. But now you see these guys playing in the White House.
yeah.
It's funny that I mentioned those guys because those two guys played in the White House. You know what I mean? It's just like, man, it come up as crazy. Just for esports in general to come up as crazy, like it's ridiculous, man. People making 6, 7 figures, man. Like I could talk about that crap all day. You know how ridiculous it is, man.
Yeah, and I mean, like to go on top of that, I played basketball growing up. Rick Fox jumps in, you got Echo Fox. Like whenever that happened, I was like, that's crazy. Just knowing that you got people in the NBA basically saying, not only do I game on the side, but I sponsor a team, and not and then whenever you got people like Sonic Fox on those teams and stuff, that crap is crazy. But yeah, yeah, that's where my mind went with that. Um,
Yeah, tell us about some of your tournament experiences.
Tournament experiences. All right, so I'm gonna go straight into the one that I know you're thinking about.
Yeah, 'cause you got a lot of experience.
Um, no, I'm not gonna go that route. We'll be serious. So my first, um, I heard about the FGC around 2011, 2012. Um, and my first tournament that I went to was actually final round 2012. And I went as a spectator. I actually went as a spectator my first 2 years. Now, in terms of actually competing, my first offline tournament was Tension Pulse 2014. And, it was, I realized immediately that I was a nervous wreck. I'm always a nervous wreck, but playing at home, I can get comfortable. I can rage. I can do all this other stuff. But in a tournament environment, it's like you have to have composure. You have to. There's just a lot of other things that come into play, and I just wasn't ready. So um, that was how it started. But I was very fortunate because the city that I live in, Columbus, we have a lot of people. We might not necessarily have ridiculous talent. We do, but we had a lot of people who were very active back then. So I was fortunate enough to meet some people, and most memorable tournament experiences, definitely KIT 20 2016, 2015. I'm sorry, because this was Hugo was out. If Hugo was out, then that means it had to have been 2016. My bad. So KIT 2016, I beat a sponsored player for the first time in my life. I had Columbus behind me. We're in Tennessee. Everyone's popping off. People are claiming me who I didn't even know or like, and I was just like, man, this is a good feeling. Then I proceeded to get destroyed by Casablanca, but but I think that was the first time that I really felt like, you know what, maybe if I keep on playing these fighters, I could be good. I could really be good because this dude's sponsored. He's making money for playing on this team and revving him, and I just bopped him like it wasn't even close. The first one was not close. He ended up sending me out of the tournament because I lost to Casablanca, got sent to losers, and then played him again and I lost. But it's just it still instilled this kind of confidence in me that I was like, that's pretty cool. And then I had all of that confidence beaten out of me. Final round, 2016. Thank you, Momochi, an Evo champion, as Irvin would point out. I
Evo champ,
felt like
Evo
I
champ.
was,
It's an Evo champ, Evo champ.
yeah, but I was pretty confident going into it, and I think losing to him in winner's side, I was discouraged like heavily. Then his next match on winners was against someone who used the same character as me, and that guy beat him. And then I had to play him again in losers finals in my bracket, and he beat me again and by confidence. But locally, I loved SEB Southeast battles from Red Bull. Um, Absolutely loved going to all of the tournaments that were local after the fact. I love supporting the scene, and it's really cool seeing people like Irvin, Terrence on the come up and actually like loads of potential. Just love it. I absolutely love the scene. I love the tournaments in the area. I love the competitors in the area for the most part. It's just all a great experience for me in terms of my tournament life.
Yeah. Now you said something that interested me, and you said locals. Now locals, my local experience in the beginning was not good at all. Bro, like my very first local, my very first tournament was a major. It was final round, fighting game wise, right? Because I played Smash, I did a couple Smash tournaments, but as far as fighting game wise, just my first tournament that really mattered to me, like man, I'm here, was final round. And then started going to locals after that. Now, when I went to the locals, I've never really been to a local, and I'm in Atlanta. You know what I mean? First time. I go in there, I see all these people, we're all competing and everything. And me, I've always had the mentality of these boys are gonna have to show me. That was always been my mentality. I'm not gonna go in there, oh man, I don't know, these boys are gonna have to show me. So I'm in there, and I mean, I'm just playing. I beat the first guy, everybody's like, yo man, who is this dude? So I go before I go against the second guy, people are already like, yo, that's the guy who does all this Spencer stuff. This is a Marvel 3, right? So people already know who I am. So I already have a name, so to speak. You know what I mean? And I go against this next guy. I'm sitting down, not even realizing what's going on. And this guy tries to sit next to me. It's like a bunch of black guys. One guy tries to sit next to me. He's like, hey, man. He's like, hey, man, you mind if I sit right here? We're on a couch. And I imagine a big couch. He's like all up on me. I'm like, oh, man, I don't know him. I don't know anybody there except one dude. So, like, nah, you're good. I'm sitting here about to play this guy. The match starts. I get the first hit. Soon as I get the hit. Now, this is Atlanta now. My first time. My first local. Never really had this experience. He said, the dude next to me, he was like right next to me, kind of, sort of. And he was like, boy, you better drop that. You better drop that combo. Drop it. And I'm just like, yo. You know what I mean? Like, what the heck did I get myself into, right? Like, it was crazy. And you best believe I dropped that combo. And from that moment on, it like that day, that crap really destroyed me, right? Like, whoa, this is crazy. This is what you have to play against? Because dude ain't touching me or nothing. What can I do, right? It's sort of like he's cheering in a sense. But from that moment on, that made me never use headphones at tournaments. Because I was like, nah, bro, I got to be able to block that out. Because once again, I feel like these boys are going to have to show me, even through all that, through all this. And now, as far as my tournament experience and everything, I've been to a few tournaments. And overall, I got to say, like, every tournament, I've had a great time. Whether it be final round, whether it be CEO, whether it be, my locals, Gwinnett Brawl, Red Bull, like you say, Red Bull. Man, I've had a great experience, man. And I just think it's awesome to see people, so many people, and it's not even like, if you look at the world, we got a lot of people, but it seems like, man, you go to these tournaments, and it's all these people who share the same passion as you. We're all trying to win, we're all trying to get that trophy, and it's like, man, I just love to be in that environment, especially because once again, you meet people as competitive or more competitive than you. You know what I mean? And like, to me, it's just, yeah, I'm in awe every time, man. And the few tournaments I did go to, I did a few things I would say. give myself some recognition. I've done a few things. As far as a major, I haven't really made any noise like that. You know what I mean? But hey man, the night's still young.
Well, hold on,
You
hold
know.
on. We don't have to talk about majors. You said you've done a few things. I brought up tension pulse. That's not a major. And if you want me to, I can tie this in. When I went to tension pulse in 2012,
Okay.
no, 2014. It was 2014. That was the year I lost my ability to drive for a little bit. But when I went that year, that was the first time I ever played Joel offline.
Okay.
Sagat against Ryu. That was when a demon for me was born. That was my first match with Joel. I nothing good happened that tournament. I mean, I think I beat Murph. I beat somebody else. I beat Cardell. But I mean, like that was my first
I never
tournament.
really had a demon early on. Like I never really had somebody who I was just like, yo, this dude's just
You know
whooping my
why?
butt.
You already
Why?
addressed it. You said that whenever you went to your first local, your mentality was these boys gonna have to show me.
Yeah.
So whenever I went to my first local, my Tension Pulse, I already knew who Joel was. I'd been watching for 2 years at that point. So I
I
go
see.
there, I'm sitting next to this guy who I legit looked at his gameplay and was like, this dude's awesome. I'm like, how are you supposed to beat
Yeah.
someone you're starstruck by? I'm sitting there like, I know he's way better than me. So I'm like, I know how to anti-air with Sagat. I know how to shoot a tiger shot. Maybe I can put something together. Man, he ran me over.
I
Like that was
mean,
it. But as time went on, and I will say that this was one of the cool things about it. I realized I can get a lot better. And once Street Fighter V came out, I don't think it was much argument. I was probably one of the best in the state or region for that matter. I really was when the game had first come out. I just I didn't stick with it because Momochi beat the living motivation out of me. But
the game that I feel like I made, if any noise, I did make noise in, but local wise was definitely Marvel 3. Like I went to a couple places and like I remember I went to Auburn and when I was going in the building and before we went in, I asked one of my boys, I said, "Hey man, who's here?" That as a matter of fact, when I was hanging out with Richard and them, I said, "Who's here that I have to worry about?" Right? And he's like, "Yo man, they got this guy, this guy, this guy, and they got this guy. Don't worry about this guy because you won't beat him." See, that stuff like that, bro. That's why I love the sport right there. Doubt, right? And that's any sport, right? But that's I feel like this is my craft, so that's why I love the sport when it comes to that because people are already down you like, oh, don't worry about him, you won't be able to beat him. Okay, so once again, he's going to have to show me. I go in there, I play a couple casuals. The guy comes in, he plays a couple casuals. So they're like, hey man. So somebody says, hey man, Irvin thinks he can beat you. Now I never said that. I never said that at all. That never came out of my mouth. All I said was when he told me that I said, oh, okay. That's exactly what I said. So we play first to three. I 3-0'd him. Right? This dude 3-0'd this. Oh, we gotta see all this and that. 3-0'd him. And everybody's in there like, what? What just happened? You know what I'm saying? And that's why I love the sport because I feel like, all right, I feel like competitive wise, I got the mindset. Right. I got the mindset. Now I'm not gonna say it's 100% ideal, but I got it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just man, like the fact that it's a video game for me is just once again, man, I gotta keep saying it. It's crazy. I'm like, I gotta be here. This is where I gotta be. You know.
yeah, and
So yeah, man.
I mean, I think it is pretty cool, like before, people who've been a part of the FGC for years and years and years, they've gotten to see the evolution of something crazy. Because, when I was born, the NBA was in full swing. It's
Yeah.
not like it was just, like backyard basketball or something like that. It was, you had people rich from playing basketball. But whenever you had the fighting game community specifically, like not gaming, because there were some games that may have gotten some attention, not enough for millions. That was like what started by a few shooters or whatever, like Counter
Hmm.
Strike and whatever Riot, jumped
Yeah.
into the
Yeah. Yeah.
scene. But it's for the fighting game community, you had a bunch of people who were like, "Yo, we're gonna go here. We're gonna have a big tournament. What's the grand prize? Prize pool. We'll just say $5 an entry, whatever. We'll just get, well, and that was it. That was enough. You couldn't stream it. This was before Justin TV. This was just we're here because we love playing fighting games.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, some stuff comes out. Oh, we can get some exposure online. Some social media comes out. We can share tech online. And little by little, it just evolved and evolved and evolved. And all of a sudden, like you said, you got people playing in the White House. You got these Red Bull events. You can win $250,000 for getting first place at a single tournament. Like,
Speaking of Riot, man, they have a whole league. Like you have people making six figures, kind of like the freaking NBA. You got these teams and they go against each other, and then they have a finals at the end. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like it's crazy. And it's just, speaking of league, people don't know this. I had history in League of Legends as well. You know what I mean? I got to a certain point. I became a semi-pro. I got on the team and everything, and it just didn't work out because I realized, like, man, I'm not really a team guy. And the reason why is because people don't have the same mentality as me. And I had to realize that. Kobe Bryant, he said it himself, man, I wish my teammates had the same mentality as me. Sometimes it ain't going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And it just like, when people don't have the same mentality as you, you either power through or you say, I got to find something else because they can hold you back. And but nothing wrong with team games. I love team games, just not at that same level that I do enjoy 1v1 or single player game.
And
Uh, yeah,
I think the
good,
genre really depends. Like it affects my outlook because I don't like team shooters.
right.
With the exception of Overwatch. That's different in that I think that the only
A
reason
road company,
okay, but I mean I haven't seen a rogue company league. I guess is what I mean. Like I haven't
Mhm.
seen much pro play
Yeah,
or
yeah,
anything like that. And if it got that kind of exposure, I don't think I would want to play it.
at that
To
level,
try to get there. Like that's now Valorant. I feel like you can't really play Valorant without you have to play it and want to get there. And if
you
you're
do,
not
you do,
doing it, you're not playing
you do.
Valorant. Like
Yeah,
it's so, and I think that's why it was so stressful because I felt like that was an expectation that came with it. I hate the thing that I don't like about Valorant is that when you die or whenever your teammates die, they are watching you. They're just
hmm
watching you. Like they can nitpick every single thing about your gameplay. And I'm not a shooter. I don't play shooters. I don't. I have fun with them, but I don't play them at a high level by any means.
right.
Um, but yeah, you're gonna have to remind me what we were talking about because I'm getting old.
We
I
was talking
am
about
old.
team games, and
So
and matter of fact,
Overwatch.
I kind of want to go over something that I see Mel said right here. People go for the experience only, when they go to tournaments, and they are just going for the experience, And I didn't realize that. Honestly, I didn't realize that. It took me a while to realize some people are just going for the experiment. I mean, for the experience. When I went to Evolution, and that's the biggest fighting game tournament. At least it was, I don't know, but regardless, when I first went there, I didn't realize that there were so many people who really they weren't there for the competition. They weren't there trying to win. And I always thought, man, if I'm going to Evo, man, I'm trying to win. In my mind. No matter what, if I don't win, that's fine. I mean, as long as I practice at my best, but I'm going to win. But some people are just there for the experience. And that's something that you do have to account for sure.
Yeah. Um, I went to Evo once,
Mm.
and man, I'm telling you, when I say I have issues with nerves, I dropped I managed to time an ultra with Sagat one frame so that it would miss after a DP forward heavy kick trade or no, it was a DP trade into ultra, and I managed to just mistime it for the first time in my life at Evo, and then laggy monitor on the next match. But I will say that just sitting down and being a spectator, sometimes I feel like I get way more out of tournaments than actually competing. Then there are other
Yeah.
times I feel like like actually the experience sitting down next to somebody, having those nerves and just overcoming. Like we had a match. We had a match at SEB.
Uh-huh.
Nikali Mirror.
Yep.
You were up a game. It was first to two. Up a game, up around. You had the killing hit. I had a pixel.
Yeah.
And This man says, "Are you all right?" After I make this nasty little comeback because I'm sitting there like hyper.
He's going crazy.
Like I mean, but it's because of the expectation that I put on myself, and of course, I have issues with nerves and anxiety and whatnot. But I'm sitting there like, I've got to be playing better. I would not have cared if Irvin had beaten me. Like if he had beaten me, okay. But I'm like, he's beating me and I'm playing like trash. So it's like,
I think that not necessarily that oh you won because of that, but I do think that that helped you in a sense. It was like, you know what, he's probably right. Let me just chill out. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? I really did feel like that, but that's how I want to be, regardless if you're going against me or going against anybody. When I'm there with my, my boys, my partners, or whatever, my, team, whatever. I want to be able to say, "Hey, man, you good? Like, chill. Chill. It's cool. You
yeah.
just playing a game." At the end of
Yeah,
the day,
it's so that's why I think Street Fighter Five is an unhealthy game for me to compete in because I know on a good day I can beat the best. I like just hands down I can. I
hmm
know I can. I've beaten during the beta I beat Infiltration. I've beaten Punk online and most of it's been online. I haven't really done much offline um in terms of accomplishing anything noteworthy, but online I've beaten almost every top player I can think of at least once, and I'm like, dang, like I can, but I just don't have the desire to put the work in to get there as of right now because I feel like it takes too much time with where I'm at right now. I need to
yeah,
know
yeah,
that 100% if I put this time in, am I going to get something out of it because then it turns into something that might be worth it and I might be putting more time into. But
right,
as of
right.
right now, I feel like I have to get lucky first and I don't like that aspect of it.
And speaking of that, you said you may not have the time. I think another thing too. Speaking on that, you got to learn how to train smarter, not harder. You have some people who have crazy amounts of time. You have some people who have moderate amounts of time. You have some people who just don't really have the time at all. And you really have to learn how you train best. You know, some people, man, use Pochop as an example, plays a million matches, right? I mean, he can do that, right? Because he either because he's making money in the craft or just because he just makes the time, right? Some people you can play all these matches, but it won't even matter. So you need to learn how to play smarter with the time that you do have. Like I got to go to work in an hour. What's the smartest I can train right now? Not playing matches because you're only going to get about maybe like 6 matches,
Yeah.
something like that. But you can view your
Yeah.
replays, write things down. If somebody does a mix up on you, don't just go to the next match. You know what I'm saying? And keep trying to figure out how to get past that mix up. You take that thing to the lab. You do this, you look at the replay. You can actually break it down, and you would learn things a lot faster. So you can either grind or you can learn like that. Either one, it works.
Yeah.
I've been a grinder, heavy, like my gosh. I said I've been a grinder, right? But then I was like, man, you know what? When I learned how to do it smarter, I like that better because it's like I ain't gotta do all this grinding. But you do want to be able to have a game that you want to grind on regardless. Like you want to be able to just keep playing a game like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, it depends. When you don't have time, if you still really want to do something, you can do it. You just got to figure out what's the best way. Pace yourself.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. Another thing is, with the pandemic and everything,
Mhm.
having the game that I know I'm best at, like out of all the fighters I've played, having it being limited to nothing but online is
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. We played offline yesterday. And it's like it's not. I guess I'm saying there aren't organized events that I'm like excited to go to, and I feel like that excitement sometimes going to SEB, it's like I get to chill with Terrence and Irvin. Like sometimes that alone was enough for me to go there, enter, and sometimes I would make top four or something like that. That only happened twice, but twice in 2 years. But it's just like there were so many other factors that were keeping me in, and now I'm just kind of like, man, I got one line. I can ask them if they want to play in the lobby, and it's fun when we play. But it's still like, oh, there goes the lag spike.
Yeah.
The game froze for about 20 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
But so addressing the whole, you'll get out of it what you put in. I don't know that I 100% agree with that
Okay.
because some people just simply have different skill ceilings. Some people
We're,
can play for years and years and years, and they're still hard stuck in like silver. Some people, well, go on.
I was just gonna say that's true, but I want to talk to these people and see what type of mindset that they have, right? Because I'm like, yo, I don't personally, me personally, Irvin, Mom, Walker, I don't personally believe in a ceiling for myself when it comes to this, right? Well, and I wouldn't know for other things because I haven't really put work into it. But I don't really personally believe in a ceiling. I do believe now. I do believe in physical ceilings
Oh, for sure.
because something may you may God bless you may have something wrong with you physical wise. You get what I'm saying, and you may not be able to do these certain things. But I'm saying like mental wise, I feel like that ceiling thing is mental, man. I honestly feel like if you believe you can do it, and I mean seriously believe, I feel like these folks really aren't believing. But at the same time, I'll never know because I don't talk to these people. It's just hard to say, man.
But all
It's
right,
hard to say.
so here's the difference, and this is where I'm at on that topic or what you just brought up. You have to taste something close to the top to understand ceilings. You can talk to someone who's always been, like, I'm stuck in silver. I've been silver for 5 years, right? And they just genuinely don't see anything wrong with their game plan. They're just not really climbing. Like me in League, for example, I see all this crap I'm doing wrong. I'm like, like I'm playing like trash. Like I get it. I know better. I'm just not doing it. Do I think that I could get over it? Heck yeah, I could get over it. I could fix the problems that I'm having. But the issue is you have people who are playing at a low level who just genuinely don't understand. You can explain it to them. You can't do this because this number is actually putting you at a disadvantage when you're blocking. I know you want to press a button here, but you just can't. Next thing you know, same situation, counter hit, same thing, and it's because they're. It's like a blessing and a curse. From our end, it's like it's a curse. Like who wants to stay stuck in silver? But in their mind, they're able to pick up the game for 5 years, play it, and they're probably enjoying it more than we are. Because we're pushing ourselves to get better. If we just knew that we were never going to get better at a fighting game, no matter how much we played it, do you really think that we would pick it up and just play it?
No.
Like, let's say, first time we ever played Power Rangers, right?
Okay.
We played it, first time we were like, game seems pretty fun. And then we just both had this divine epiphany come in and it's like, hey, Irvin and Eric, you two will stay. You will play your matches the exact same for the rest of your life if you keep playing this. Like, do you think we pick that game up again?
No.
Exactly. So it's like I feel like they're stuck in something where they just they're finding enjoyment in something that we're not seeing because we're different competitors. We're competitors who are like, we can be at the top, so we want to get there. But then you have people who are competitors who are like, I simply enjoy the sport. And it doesn't mean we don't enjoy it, but that's enough for them. I want to enjoy it and be good at it. So,
and I may contradict myself a little bit here, but I do believe in a balance, though. I don't believe that everybody can be the best.
right.
And in that sense, then I guess I kind of, like I said, I'm contradicting myself because there has to be a balance. Only one person can be the best. You know what I'm saying? And there will be fodder, no matter what. There will be those folks who just jump in there and basically adding money to the pot. It is what it is, right? But of course, we all have the mentality of, I want to be the best. Not all, but most people, if we go into it, we have the mentality that we want to be the best. So we have a reason why we're going to these tournaments and why we keep going 0 and 2, 1 and 2, 2 and 2, whatever and 2. We realize like, okay, we're doing this because we want to get better and we feel like we can get better. But I really want to get into the heads of the people who aren't doing that well but keep on grinding it out. Those people seem like they got the best mindsets when you think about it. Because it's like, yo, man, I just keep losing, but I'm still here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like if you're improving and then you just cannot do it, you just keep getting. We'll say you get 9th place. You never can get top 8, but you can always get 9th. It's like, man, that make you want to quit. because you're always right there. You just can't do it. But if you're always just losing super low, you know, I feel like it's less stress on you. I don't know. I feel like it's less stress. But I don't know. But like I said, I feel like
Because
those people have the best mindsets. I feel like.
you can go 0-2, and you're kind of like, well, there it goes. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, I agree. It is less stress, but um, I don't. We were just fortunate. Let's just be completely realistic. I ran into Terrence by luck. I don't even
Mm-hmm.
believe in luck, and I ran into Terrence by pure luck. And that's how this little circle, like that's where it started from. I didn't train. I didn't do any. All I did was sit down in my bedroom, play Street Fighter 5, like that, or Street Fighter 4, not 5. Street Fighter 4. That was how I got good at it until I met Terrence. And now it's like we're fortunate enough. You're a beast in Smash, and then we have people that we can just, hey, let's play this. We can push each other and we can keep getting better. Not everyone has that. You can look at some people, sometimes they have families, they just, or they just don't have anyone in their circle who can break down a game in a way that lets them learn how to play it better. So I think that a lot of people have gotten the short end of the stick in terms of who they've run into, and then we're just super fortunate, and that's why this is such a cool concept. The growth experiment is so cool because we're fortunate. We're gonna share this experience. It's like,
That's what it's about. It's about growth, man. It's about coming up from square one and man, just finding yourself, man. And you know, maybe those people who we're talking about, you know, not that it's a bad thing. Maybe they will come across this and they can kind of get in their head and be like, man, what is going on? Because that's what I would do. You know, if I really love the sport, because these guys obviously love the sport or just love the experience in general. And it's like, you know, what can I do to become, you know, the best or whatever. Uh, but I mean, like you said, we're super fortunate. I guess would be hard for me to be bad because y'all wouldn't allow it. You know what I mean? So it's definitely different. You got to have the friends that are like you saying, "Man, I believe that I can press here." No, you can't, and you just let him know you cannot press here. You just keep on hitting him until he realizes, until he can see he cannot press right there. Either he's going to realize it, or he's, you know, it's impossible not to realize it. If I keep jumping and you keep anti-airing, I say no, I can keep jumping, but you just keep getting anti-aired. There's nobody in the world who's going to keep saying that. So I guess you do got to have the right crowd.
yeah. And like
Yeah,
the first time I played Grand Blue, I'm playing against Terrence. I'm Ladiva, and he's like every time he has full meter, I'm thinking grappler approach. I'm playing Street Fighter instead of Grand Blue. I go into the air. You can't jump there. You can't jump there. He only had to say it 8 times, and before I did it again. I still did it a ninth time, but it's like, dang, I really can't do it. But at the same time, whenever a game is new to me, I have to relearn fundamentals. Like I'm not very quick on picking stuff up. If I take a break from a game, I have to relearn everything. So, but now I can sit down. I can play a slow paced game in Grand Blue, and I don't make those same mistakes. I haven't played them since then, but it's like I know that that's what got me to say, you know what, he has full meter. I can't do this right now, and it's stuff like
and it
that.
may take a second.
And you are like, for Mortal Kombat 11, I don't think I would be where I was in that game if not for that. I didn't even want to play Raiden. I was like, I'm all right. But then, playing Garrus and then having messed around with it, I was like, let me just go with a character that I'm most comfortable with in every Mortal Kombat. And then I think I was doing pretty all right in it for the little while that I was playing online. Too bad I
Speaking
didn't.
of Terrence, y'all, just for anybody who doesn't know, Terrence is a longtime friend of ours, and he, you know, Street Fighter Five, he became the best Chun Li on the globe. You know, and it's beautiful to see to have a friend like that who just, you know, and that motivates us in a sense. It's like, yo, this dude, there's no way he's going to be better than me. Best Chun Li in the world. I don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? For me, but you know, but yeah,
But
but yeah. So during how do you think that what how do you think we should be acting or performing or what do you think we should be doing if we want to become professional during the pandemic? What would you do?
Well, kind of. You have to use the resources that are available to you. So, you can. Let's say that there's a matchup that you've never really been able to practice. You know, people are playing sets online right now. Reach out to somebody in the community. Hey, you want to run some sets? Like, actually, you're limited, but if you're able to pick out certain things about your approach or your game plan that are just weak, go ahead and address those things. It's not like you have a tournament that you got to prepare for, by next week, or it's too late. We're waiting for things to get back to a place where we can go to, actually go to these venues and have an offline event. So I think that this is the time for you to really look at your game, identify what your weaknesses are. And, like you said, watching replays is a good idea. But but everyone's playing online right now. Like
Yeah,
if they're not playing,
and it can go for anything. Like what you just said, it really like you can go for anything. You really have to watch the replays and things like that. But I want people to understand that we're talking about fighting games, for the most part, because that's what we mostly play. But if we talk about other things too, it's like it seems like it's easier to do it with the other games. The online is immaculate. You can play Valorant. You're playing on your connection. You're not going off of other people. So for fighting games, man, it is harder. I see what the resources and everything. It is harder. You have to go find those people, and you can't just play anybody. You can play folks in Valorant from Europe, and I don't think it matters. You just play them. Because if they're coming to your game, and it's just crazy to me how big of a disconnect that is. And for the pandemic, if you are playing things like Valorant, League, and CS:GO, and it's a lot easier. Yeah,
yeah. But
but
online has been the biggest deterrent for me personally. But I think that if, for me, like if I wanted to say, what, pandemic is here. I want to get as professional and as good as possible during this downtime.
yeah,
I really do think that what I would have to do is go through, make sure I do remember frame data for all of the characters,
yeah.
and just get my actually study matchups. And that's always been my weakest thing. I'm very, very good at understanding what my opponent wants to do, but there
Yeah.
are very, very specific situations.
So you're limited if you don't know, if you
Yeah.
don't have the skill, you're limited. You may know all day what he wants to do, but if you don't know what to do against it, I mean,
Yeah, so and that's my biggest problem. I did recently start playing a different character. I feel like that opened my mind up in a lot of ways. I'm struggling less with more characters. I'm able to do more with more characters, and that's cool. But today was the first day that I went back to my initial, or my current main, the last character I really did anything noteworthy with, since apparently beating Brutus is noteworthy. And that's
I mean,
if Brutus ever hears that, you remember me. You won't forget this face, but yeah, like Blanca, I went back to playing Blanca, and I feel more comfortable. I had online issues, but not really anything else. Everything else was fine. If the connection was good, I felt like I was able to execute my game plan better. I was doing things differently in it, and I really think that actually saying, what can I do in this position that I don't normally do that will help me win more. That's what I've been trying to do playing these other characters, and it's been working out for me as of late. So
right. And for me personally, man, it's all about, like you said, using your resources. It really is, man, and you have to. I mean, in a sense, you gotta power through, man. When you go from going to tournaments to playing strictly online, and the online is just not what you expect it to be. It is what it is. You have to. If you really want to be that boy, you gotta put the work in. We talked yesterday about, uh, you know, I want to definitely get better in fighting games, and I'm gonna have to almost. Sometimes you have to almost not force yourself, but push yourself a little more and say, "Hey, man, if you want to be a great basketball player, you may not like the rules, but man, if you love the game, man, sometimes you got to power through. You love the sport. You know what I mean? That's what it's about. You loving the sport. Pick whatever you think is best, or if you don't like any game, if you really want to still be that pro, but if you think it's popular, man, try to find a character, try to find something that you love about something in the sport, and just push through. Uh, and it's just been for a lot of people, man. Even the pros, in a lot of games, it has been harder. I was looking at some league stuff the other day, and I seen some people saying like, "Man, we want the LCS to come back." You know what I mean? We're playing at the house, because they're playing at the house. When I say
Hmm.
LCS to come back, they want to be on that stage again with the crowd and everything. Because they're doing it from the house, and everybody's in their pajamas, man. We're doing tournaments at the house. You know what I mean? So it's just like, man, it is crazy that that's happened. But it goes on. It goes on, man. No matter what, it's got to go on. And we have something that, you know, basketball players, football players, soccer players, but they don't have. We were able to still function
Yeah.
in the beginning, you know. So that's, I mean, this is what it is. So we have a one up on them when it comes to that. You know, so you got to think about it, man. You got to think. You got to see these other folks. If you decide not to put the work in during the pandemic, man, when you go to tournaments, you're gonna see folks. You're gonna be like, yo, who is this guy? And he's just been working. He's like, cause pandemic or not, pandemic can also be a blessing to some people because you may get more time than you had
Hmm.
before. That's what I mean by that. You know what I'm saying? It's bad. The pandemic is bad, but for some, you can try to turn it into a positive as much as possible.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah. So, um, you know, one thing. Speaking of pandemic, one thing I want to talk about that I know nobody wants to talk about
Oh
is
boy.
fitness. Fitness during the pandemic, right? I love fitness. I'm a fitness guy. I'm not the best looking guy body wise, but I love being healthy. I love fitness, and I seen some people, man, body transformations, right? And I'm talking about gamers, man, fat, good gamers, body transition is like that's what I'm talking about. I'm telling you, man, when you go to these tournaments and you are working out, your mentality changes. You just feel good when you eat all that grease and all that. I mean, you just feel bad. You sitting there just you tired playing the game, and it's just like, woo! You can stream longer. I guarantee you can increase your stream time if you work out and you eat healthy. I guarantee it. You know what I'm saying? I really do. And I motivate people, man. I challenge people to work out during the pandemic, whether you're a gamer or not.
Yeah, and I mean, my transformation was pretty significant. It just went the other way. I learned about chocolate and brownies and all that good stuff, man.
Yeah.
I learned how to emotionally eat, and since the pandemic was an emotional time, I did a lot of eating. But on a brighter note, um, like I got to go outside a little bit yesterday. I walked around. Sun was out. It was a good day, and I am planning on making some short term and long term goals in terms of my personal fitness. I used to be a gym fiend, like I was there all the time, and I was in really good shape. But married life happened, and pandemic happened, and I did not exercise the amount of self control and discipline that I should have during, um, those occurrences. But there's not a better time to start than right now. So
Yep.
game plan is, and I'm sure if you do watch the growth experiment, you'll notice some differences in the coming months. I'll
Oh
say
yeah, you gonna see
you'll
some.
see some pretty
Oh
drastic
yeah.
changes. But yeah, the